You feel connected to her as she shares pieces of her life in her lyrics. Since her appearance on the country music scene with a guitar in hand, Taylor Swift has evolved from America's sweetheart to Miss Americana. The young teenager from Nashville, once strived for perfection, is now a woman becoming the voice of her generation. She stands strongly for herself, her fans, and women. Her messages of empowerment will resonate for years around the world. Born Taylor Allison Swift, growing up in West Reading, Philadelphia, a regular childhood was not enough. She wanted to become a star. After gaining an interest to become a musician, her parents fully supported her. At 11, she felt Nashville, Tennessee was calling her after she watched a VH1 documentary on Faith Hill. During her first visit to the city, she left a demo CD at the front desk of every record label on Music Row. "I'm Taylor Swift," she'd say, "and I want a record deal." In an interview with American Songwriter, Taylor recalled, "Everyone in that town wanted to do what I wanted to do. So I kept thinking to myself, I need to figure out a way to be different." Like Destiny, Taylor decided to pick up guitar. She learned guitar along with songwriting with a local musician and computer repairman, Ronnie Kremer. The first song she wrote was "Lucky You," after learning her first 3 chords, C, D, and G, on the guitar, and inspired by her grandmother. Later, playing guitar became an essential aspect of her image. In 2004, at age 14, Taylor Swift became the youngest signing in history with Sony ATV. After entering high school, Taylor Swift began meeting Liz Rose for 2-hour writing sessions every Tuesday after school. Rose thought the sessions were some of the easiest I've ever done. Basically, I was just her editor. She'd write about what happened in school that day. She had such a clear vision of what she was trying to say, and she'd come in with the most incredible hooks. Taylor later said, "I genuinely felt that I was running out of time. I wanted to capture these years of my life on an album while they still represented what I was going through." Taylor later left Sony, but her incredible drive paid off. At 15, she negotiated with former Universal executive Scott Borchetta at Big Machine Records as her new label. At 16, she released her eponymous debut studio album, and nothing was ever the same. Piggybacking off Tim McGraw's star power to drum up interest in her single, Tim McGraw made country fans notice her. Taylor was the girl who sang about their icon, but that's not all she was. She was a breath of fresh air in the country music scene filled with older men. And unlike other young stars, she wrote or co-wrote almost all of her music. She was perfect at being conventional, so perfect that nobody felt threatened by the abilities of her songwriting.
Getting involved in the whole songwriting community in Nashville really helped me along.
Girls loved her because she was relatable, singing about falling in love and growing up, while parents loved her innocent image. She encapsulated the all-American good girl image, backed up by her flawless interviews, showcasing that American sweetheart from the countryside persona. J. Freedom Dulac wrote in a Washington Post profile from 2008, "She's a reporter's dream, and, no doubt, a publicist too. A media darling indeed." Little did people know, Taylor was having serious image issues at the time. It wasn't revealed until 2020 in her documentary Miss Americana, where she recalled having cycles of unhealthy eating habits to maintain a thin body by Hollywood standards. She said, "I remember how, when I was 18, that was the first time I was on the cover of a magazine, and the headline was like, 'Pregnant at 18?' And it was because I had worn something that made my lower stomach look not flat. So I just registered that as a punishment." When stylists commented on how she can fit into sample sizes, Taylor took it as approval or praise to maintain her 00 dress size. It's still hard for Taylor to talk about the issue, but she told herself, "I was like, nope, we don't do that anymore. We do not do that anymore." This message resonates strongly with her fans who are struggling with their body image. It's rare for a pop singer of her standing to be so open about her eating disorder.
It's better to think you look fat than to look sick.
Typically, Taylor Swift refrained from speaking about her personal life and opinions. Her massive popularity is paired with massive scrutiny. Her lyrics tell her stories, but they're not enough. The media and public often analyzed her relationships, political standings, and personal matters. In her documentary Miss Americana, she admits she focused on being nice to sell country music. Her success depended on being liked, for being an image of herself. It took a toll on Taylor, mentally. She felt her success wasn't deserved. Having her self-worth tied up with being liked came to be a nightmare with the famous fiasco with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. It all came down at once. Her every move was seen as calculated, from her once positively viewed girl squad of famous female friends to her relationships. Her good girl image was gone, as social media collectively labeled her a snake. People were vocally announcing their dislike for Taylor Swift, and it was straining her. She said in her movie, "I had to deconstruct an entire belief system for my own personal sanity." She took a step back from the spotlight to find herself in her darkest days.